In Crestwood County, wealth spoke volumes. For Donovan Mercer, it roared. His empire steadily devoured the historic Legacy District, buying out every black-owned home through coercion, deception, and outright fraud. Only Evelyn Carter's Victorian house remained, a lone testament to resilience. At 72, they thought she'd be easy to break. A false arrest, a night in jail, a ruined reputation. What they didn't count on was her son. When Master Sergeant Samuel Carter, the most decorated Green Beret alive, received his mother's call from a holding cell, Crestwood's power structure didn't just face a complaint. They faced a reckoning. The system that framed an innocent woman never anticipated becoming the target. Now, a military strategist who had outmaneuvered warlords was coming for them, armed with something far more dangerous than any weapon, an unwavering commitment to justice. Evelyn Carter stood at the entrance of the Crestwood Fine Arts Gallery, an elegant brick building with towering glass windows that gleamed in the afternoon sun. At 72, she carried herself with quiet dignity, a woman who had weathered life's storms with grace. Her silver hair was neatly styled, and she wore her Sunday best, a black dress with a matching jacket and a simple pearl necklace, a gift from her late husband on their 40th anniversary. She glanced down at the embossed invitation in her hand. The gallery was showcasing works by emerging black artists, and her former student, now the town's most promising young painter, had personally invited her. As a retired schoolteacher who had educated 3 generations of the town's children, Evelyn swelled with pride whenever one of her students succeeded. The gallery was already crowded, filled with Crestwood's elite sipping champagne and murmuring in hushed, important tones. Several people nodded politely as Evelyn made her way inside, but few acknowledged that they had once sat in her classroom. "Miss Carter," a warm voice called. James Caldwell, her former student, waved from across the room. "You made it." Evelyn smiled as she approached. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, James. Your invitation meant everything to me." James beamed, taking her hands. "Your art class was what started all this. I need to show you my centerpiece." Neither of them noticed the tall figure watching from the corner. Donovan Mercer stood with an untouched glass of champagne, his steely gaze fixed on Evelyn Carter. At 65, Mercer was the wealthiest man in Crestwood County. His slick-back silver hair and custom-tailored suit exuded power, a man used to getting his way. "That's her?" a man beside him asked, his voice low. Mercer nodded slightly. Evelyn Carter. The last piece of the puzzle. His companion, Victor Langston, the gallery's owner, raised an eyebrow. "She won't sell. Turned down twice what it's worth," Mercer said through clenched teeth. "Says the house holds historical significance for the black community. As if that matters more than progress." Langston swirled his champagne. "And you're sure this will work?" "It has to," Mercer said. "Once her reputation is destroyed, the community will turn against her. Then we'll get the land for half of what I offered." Across the room, Evelyn admired James's masterpiece, a striking canvas depicting the town's history through symbols and vibrant colors. "This is extraordinary, James," she said, her voice filled with pride. "Thank you for believing in me when no one else did," James replied, squeezing her hand. Their moment was interrupted by Langston's voice booming across the gallery. "Ladies and gentlemen, I must ask for your attention." The crowd hushed. "I regret to inform you that we've had a theft," Langston announced. "The Callaway diamond necklace, on loan for tonight's charity auction, is missing." Gasps rippled through the room. The necklace, valued at over $1 million, had been prominently displayed near the entrance. "Security has been notified, and the police are on their way," Langston continued. "I must ask everyone to remain in the gallery until the authorities arrive." Murmurs spread as guests exchanged worried glances. "This is strange," James whispered to Evelyn. That necklace was in a locked case with an alarm system. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. She noticed Langston whispering to Mercer. Something about their demeanor unsettled her. 20 minutes later, 2 police officers entered the gallery. Officer Crowley was tall and broad-shouldered, his scowl perpetual. Officer Payne was shorter, his darting eyes constantly scanning the crowd. They headed straight for Langston, who immediately pointed in Evelyn's direction. Evelyn felt a chill as they approached, their hands resting casually on their holsters. "Ma'am, we need to speak with you," Crowley said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Evelyn straightened, confusion crossing her face. "Of course, officer. What's this about? We received a report that you were seen lingering near the display case before the necklace went missing, Payne said. Evelyn's eyes widened. That's not true. I arrived only 30 minutes ago and came directly to speak with Mr. Caldwell. James stepped forward. Officers, this must be a mistake. Miss Carter is a respected member of our community. Sir, step back now, Crowley ordered, cutting him off. We need to ask Miss Carter some questions. Evelyn noticed several guests watching, some raising their phones to record. Her heartbeat quickened, but she kept her expression calm. Officers, the security cameras will prove I did nothing wrong, she said firmly. Langston stepped forward. Unfortunately, our system experienced a glitch. The cameras were offline for about 20 minutes, right when the theft occurred. Evelyn's jaw tightened. A coincidence? No, this was a setup. Ma'am, Payne said, eyeing her small purse. Have you had your handbag with you all evening? Yes, she replied. We need to check it. Evelyn pulled back slightly. Do you have a warrant? Crowley's expression hardened. Ma'am, we're investigating a felony. If you refuse to cooperate, we'll have to take you to the station. Evelyn could see what was happening. After 50 years in this town, after teaching hundreds of its children, this was how they repaid her. I've done nothing wrong, she said, her voice steady. But I will not allow you to search my belongings without proper procedure. Crowley's jaw clenched. Evelyn Carter, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice and suspicion of grand theft. As the officer recited her rights, Evelyn noticed a young gallery assistant, Emma Wilson, another former student, watching in horror from behind a display. The girl looked torn, as if she wanted to speak but feared the consequences. Officer Payne pulled Evelyn's arms behind her back and fastened the handcuffs. Cold metal bit into her skin, but she refused to wince. As they led her toward the exit, whispers followed. She always seemed so nice. You never know about people. What a shame. The stares burned into her back, a mixture of shock, judgment, and pity. Outside, news vans had already arrived, cameras rolling. As she was guided into the police car, Evelyn met Officer Crowley's gaze in the rearview mirror. You comfortable back there, Grandma? He sneered. Evelyn Carter didn't respond, because she knew something they didn't. Her son was coming.